Springfield's Pure Classic Rock, 104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens.
Hang on, this is blowing my mind. I see you.
I can see you.
Wait, so you're here for me.
Here.
Whoa, that's weird though, because when I point my finger this way, it goes the other way. Let's touch fingers like E.T.
It's Dark Side of the Stream.
Yeah, sorry, it's new technology for me.
We're actually going to start.
You can see my grades. I should have done my grades before this, man.
Jay's just staring at himself. We are videoing this podcast now, which you can view online, 1047thecave.com, or of course on our Facebook page. And of course, you can download this podcast on our 104.7 The Cave.
Take it with you while you go to the pool, while you go on road trips. You can take us with you.
While you go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to do this video and we're going to see how it looks going forward and do this. And today we are discussing.
I need better lighting. I'm going to buy a better light. If we're doing this on video from now on, I'm getting a professional
He's getting
light.
us professional lights. We're taking it to the next level.
Getting a makeup artist.
God, you're such
Come on, dude. You got to do this right.
So, okay, anyway.
At least I got some tan this weekend.
That's true. We both did. I got burned this weekend. So, Dark Side of the Stream. Jay's pick once again. He definitely made up for last week's Sasquatch, which was just
Sasquatch was badass.
It's garbage.
First of all, guys.
But this week he suggested Crime of the Century on HBO Max, and I have to tell you, man, it is unbelievable.
Scandalous, Joe. Scandalous.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I need to tweak this because I'm hearing an echo through my phone.
He's turning it down. So, Crime of the Century basically talks about the opioid epidemic in this country, and it goes back to the beginning, really, with humans being addicted to opioids for thousands of years.
Don't look at me. Look at the
Alexander
camera.
the Great. Yeah, it's true.
Alexander you can look at the camera. I can look at the camera. This whole episode is going to be us trying to figure out how to work this thing.
Alexander the Great sold it. The Egyptians used it. And it was huge in Asia, of course. It was huge in the United States. And we're talking about heroin, which inevitably became a pill form and prescribed by doctors across this country.
You got to be careful with heroin. It's the gateway drug. It's a doorway drug. It leads to heavier stuff.
But this documentary tells the story of how really it all started with Purdue Pharma and the
scammers, man,
Sackler family. And we're going to get into this thing and how it happened, how it started out with, I'm not saying that these things don't have their place in medicine, but how do we make this go further? How do we make more money? And that's what we're talking about on this week's episode while we figure out how to videotape it. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. (104.7 The Cave, Springfield's Pure Classic Rock. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens, back at Dark Side of the Stream today discussing Crime of the Century. So what did you learn from this documentary?
I kind of knew the scam. I just didn't know the scam was so elaborate that these guys had. And just ruthless, like paying off doctors to write reports, and then getting a slap on the wrist, basically. Hey, you pay $600 million, but you're going to make $6 billion or whatever. Everybody will take that deal. That's why they're still doing it today.
So it started with the idea that when you take an opioid, there is obviously a limit. Okay. And this company named Purdue Pharma created this cotton release thing, which was a continual release coating over basically what is heroin in pill form that would allow pain management patients to take more if they needed it to help with their pain. We're talking about people with terminal illnesses here, like last days of cancer, HIV, bad deals. Well, the pharmaceutical company goes, we can't make a lot of money with that. We spent a lot of money developing this system.
This is where it gets dirty.
We need to figure out a way to make more money. So what they did, and my mom is a nurse and confirmed this after I watched this, they basically went around the country and convinced doctors and nurses that pain management was a vital sign, which is complete garbage and has since been taken off. But when my mom was in nursing school, guess what they taught her? Pain was a vital sign. So the pharmaceutical companies right out of the gate, now they're like, okay, we can just, we can prescribe this. If you got back pain, you don't want to deal with it anymore, take some
so dirty, dude.
And you look at what this created, it's just unbelievable and so much loss. But really, the sad thing is that there were a lot of doctors across the country like, I don't care, make the money, let's
Right.
do it. When the rep for the company in part two that sold the fentanyl was talking about how he had 4 different types of doctors. You had the blue who didn't want to do it, the yellow who was kind of meh, the green who was kind of meh, but then you find those red doctors. What is in it for me? It just
Dirty, man.
because you got these guys that are saying, look, when you go across the country and you survey people and you say, who do you trust the most? Who do they say? Doctors
Yeah.
and nurses. I'm sure that's changed now, but at the time,
Man, so
they're
scandalous.
supposed to
dude.
make you better. So how could you not believe them? Well, after you watch this documentary, you can see that it is a money making
And it's
business.
still going on though today. Like it's these guys just got slapped on the wrist. They kiboshed the cases against them.
It's-
Like it's dirty, bro.
it's
I don't
a
like that kind of stuff.
dirty thing. And we will talk about how government is real dirty. Next, Dark Side of the Stream.
Exposing the truth.
That's right.
We're like, we're like,
104.7. .7 The Cave, Springfield's pure classic rock, Dark Side of the Stream. Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern, back in the studio.
there's
We're
a little bit
videoing
of a
this
delay.
thing.
There's a bit. Did you notice? I think you need to hit it and wait, and then say the logo. It's coming in late. I don't know if you noticed it. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we'll figure
We're figuring this out.
We're figuring it out.
Thank
And
you for figuring it out together with us.
If you're just listening on the radio, you're probably
This is the
like,
kind of
"What the
stuff
hell are
you
these guys
you
doing?"
don't get this kind of stuff with other radio shows. You don't get the behind the scenes
No,
footage.
and we're
like
trying
this.
to be like
we're a family
famous,
unit.
famous podcasters.
Oh, is that what we're
here and doing like videos.
My
and
kid's
things.
gonna be stoked. She wants to be a YouTuber. Here I am,
Let's
blowing
go.
up.
And let's go. Now, you know that it was a good documentary that Jay suggested when I take notes. And I took a lot of
Whoa.
notes.
Mike puts a lot of thought into this.
Well, because that's what we're doing. It's our job. Now, the one thing about this, we're talking about crime of the century, by the way, in this episode of Dark Side of the Stream. The one thing I loved about this documentary, the guy who made it did a phenomenal job telling so many different stories in the opioid epidemic. Not only did he go through, the Sackler family and Purdue Pharma and all the other pharmaceutical companies that were involved in this, he also looked at it through the eyes of an EMT. He's working 100 hours a week, basically just saving lives from people who are ODing on fentanyl and everything else. Goes through the salespeople,
The pushers who I
through
thought
these
were great.
things,
Yeah.
which it just you. And there was a guy who worked for Purdue that was like, look, early on, I
Trying
was
to
like,
blow whistles.
hey guys, I'm going into doctors' offices.
Trying to
I'm
blow
hearing these guys
whistles.
talk about ask for more, and they're like, fine, just have them write more scripts. We're talking about how basically these pharmaceutical companies, along with the distributors who also got hit, were essentially creating a drug market for legalized heroin in this country. And that's exactly
pushers,
what it is.
Pushers, yeah, man.
Then you really start to get into the nuts and bolts of it when you start to look at it from the perspective of the government. Now, before we say this, there's something I always tell these people on this station: don't get political and don't get religious. Now, I'm going to break that rule here because it has nothing to do with political affiliation. Okay. The pharmaceutical companies have so much money. And at a point, the DAA could go after them and say, shut them down. You guys are selling heroin and pill form. People are getting hooked. People are dying. This is bad. Well, after a while, pharmaceutical companies are like, I don't like this anymore. So what do? They get the Marino bill thrown through, which basically cuts the DEA's ability to stop these guys from doing it. It was introduced by a bunch of Republicans, but then it was signed into law by President Obama. None of these people actually read what was in the bill, and that's awful. There were 3 pages in it. 3 pages.
And when they brought the case into trial, Bush, right, was the one that put the kibosh on the trial. It's like, no. So
that's the thing.
Oh man,
it has nothing to do with political affiliation here. whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, a conservative or a liberal, you
right or
have
wrong,
to
you know?
get so upset when you see things get like pushed like this through Congress by the people that are supposed to be representing us in DC. It's garbage. Whether they're Democrats or Republicans, they're garbage. They can be bought, and this documentary proves it.
Worse, even another side note, there's only 2 countries in the world that allow drugs to be marketed on television: New Zealand and the United States.
Unbelievable.
How the hell is it allowed? How the hell is it allowed? Everybody else doesn't allow it. It's money, man. Backdoor money.
The rabbit hole that you go
Backdoor
down
money.
in this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
and the pill market, the pill mills in Florida, like the pill highway. You just go in there and say, I want this, I want this, I want this. The most heartbreaking story was when they were talking about those pill clinics or the pain management clinics, and that nurse that basically, when they started going through what that doctor was prescribing her, the first doctor that
The
read it
laundry
goes,
list.
if I had heard that there was a doctor prescribing this, the first thing I would do was make a call to the medical board and say, look, this guy needs his license revoked. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That man still stands by the fact that he let this woman die because, according to him, some people in pain just don't want to live anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Good job,
there was
dude.
a couple characters that I felt like choking for sure in this documentary.
Oh, God, I was getting so mad about this. So before my blood pressure
Yeah,
gets
my
any
kid worked
higher,
up. You would think it would make your face look a little less white. How are you look whiter than I look?
I don't know.
Aren't you
Just
like
because you're tan and your lighting's better than mine.
Yeah.
Either way, it's Dark Side of the Stream. We'll conclude our thoughts on Crime of the Century off of HBO Max and talk about what we're going to watch next week in just a few minutes. Summer 4.7 K. One 104.7 K, Springfield Pure Classic Rock, Dark Side of the Stream. Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern again. We are videoing these things now in the studio. You can watch them online, 1047thecave.com, or on our Facebook page as we do them every Thursday. If you don't want to watch us and you just want to listen to us, you can download it as a podcast on our 104.7 The Cave app. So, Crime of the Century, what we're going to do, rating this thing.
how many
pills?
how
Five
many
pills?
crooked politicians or crooked
I mean, I give
pharmaceuticals?
4.5 crooked politicians.
Yeah, I do too.
4.5
It was
pills.
good and it was short.
Well,
it was,
it's 2 parts.
It was not like a crazy long. They didn't
No.
go into a lot of details they didn't need to go into. Like I felt
It was so packed full. It was
Yeah.
edited well. The storytelling was
watch it.
amazing.
It almost goes hand in hand with the one, the documentary about that guy in Louisiana whose kid died from pill addiction.
Oh,
It
yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
goes hand in hand with that documentary.
very, very. There's so many stories to this opioid
Anyway.
thing. It's just
Fight for power.
unbelievable. One more thing that I want to add is that when they were talking about, they have a split because you've got a bunch of DEA guys that were former DEA guys that are still trying to fight this thing that were let go after the Marino bill goes through. And then you've got the guys that used to work for the DEA that now work for all the pharmaceutical companies,
so
including
dirty.
some of the guys that actually helped write the FDA
Yeah,
approvals
so dirty.
that left and now are working
So
for those
dirty,
companies.
man.
When you hear about them paying, $340 million fines, guess what? They're making like $10 billion
Everybody
annually.
would take that deal. Oh,
That's a
okay.
speeding
I
ticket.
break the law,
That's
but I'm
nothing.
going to pay this to make this much. It's a
Just-
no-brainer. It's an easy investment.
I don't know what to say. I just,
It's ruthless,
I-
scandalous.
I'm pissed off at the government. I'm pissed off at both sides. I'm pissed off at the healthcare medical industry in this country.
Change, man. It's a scam.
It's garbage. So yeah, Jay's on. Actually, after Sasquatch last week, I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to let him pick again. Then he just
Jay's on a roll.
completely, you did something like this and completely
Redeem
redeemed yourself.
That's how I
It was
do,
great.
man.
It was
That's how I
great.
do. I got to keep.
It
I
was
got to
good.
keep blood moving, man. I got to keep blood moving.
So with that in mind,
Jay found another one.
what's the
Jay
next?
found another
What's
one.
the next magic bean that we're going to listen to? Watch?
What's the silly name? It's a Manson documentary with Rob Zombie. Yeah, I think it's Final Words or Last Words, and it's all recorded conversations with Charles Manson before he died, and it goes deep into the state's case and all the evidence facts, and you see something ain't jiving here. It's pretty deep, man.
When I went west a couple of years ago, I listened to like a 5 because I was going through the desert. I listened to a 5-parter about the Manson family and all that stuff, and at the end of it, came to the conclusion that they pretty much put an innocent man to death. It's a crazy story. I can't wait to watch it again. As always, you can download
Manson. Last words or final words
It's
on
on
YouTube.
YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Free.
You can watch it
Narrated
for
by
free.
Rob Zombie.
That's right. And download this podcast online, 1047thecave.com, on our 104.7 The Cave app, wherever your podcasts are found. Of course,
share us to your grandma's Tinder.
You can watch it. That's him.
Now that she can see us. Now that she can see us, come on, grandma's in, man.
Again, the start side of the stream, 104.7 The Cave.